Pokémon! We all know this series. The games, the cartoons, the cards. I mean, this franchise is huge. And why wouldn't it be? They got everything right. Look at these cute, adorable creatures. Oh, and they can kick the shit out of each other. It's the perfect combination for men and women alike. Before I seriously get into this, I want it to be known that I'm a huge Pokemon fan and loved the game, shows, and cards. But let's really take a look at these games for a second. I feel like everyone enjoys playing them, talking about them, making theories about them. Hell, we're even guilty of that last one. But isn't it time for us to analyze them critically? Sure, we all had some fun back in the day, but everyone got caught up in the Pokemania and was all like, OMG, Pika-Pee, ow, dish, muck. It was a freaking epidemic. We were all hooked, and some of us never got unhooked. Oh, dear God. Now, I'm not saying that there's something necessarily wrong with being crazy about something. Many people go way crazier for their local sports team, movies, books, spaghetti, or whatever. But just because something was great doesn't mean it will always continue to be, or that it was flawless to begin with. And since I like to complain, let's go through some of the issues that aren't talked about enough from this beloved series. Alright, so here we are at the beginning of Pokemon Fire Red, the remake of one of the original games. I'd start off with the original games, but Fire Red and Leaf Green are literally just colorized remakes of the originals with slightly more post-gameplay added in at the end. And that's bullshit! If there's one thing I hate, it's having to repeat myself. And this is repeating hours of shit I've already done. How many times do I have to play through the same fucking region? Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver all go through Kanto. I'd have to be goddamn insane to buy the same game 5 times. Fuck, if I was a dog, I wouldn't even be able to tell the goddamn difference between them. It's just the color. Sorry, that was 20 years of rage all released at once. And don't you start, commenter who I'm assuming is a snot-nosed 30-year-old who still lives in his parents' basement and is starting to bald. They are slightly different, sure, but anyone with a brain can see that the differences in these games is a money-making scheme, and a good one at that. The idea to have multiple versions of the same game was thought of by Nintendo's famous Shigeru Miyamoto. All you fuckers who didn't think he was involved in Pokemon, just look it up. Sure, he wasn't super involved past the first generation, but one of his personal ideas for the games was to create 2 versions, neither having all the Pokemon necessary to complete the Pokédex. You sly little minx, Miyamoto. I knew you were good. But seducing thousands of people to buy the same game over and over? I have to salute the guy. It's the brilliant you want what you don't have, or the grass is always greener, or some other stupid cliche. People went berserk for it. The trading, the need to finish your Pokédex, the flaming determination because you gotta catch them all. How many of you have gotten ridiculously angry for not catching a Pokemon? You save right before any tough fight because if you miss, insert random legendary Pokemon here, you won't ever catch it. It would be a stain on your otherwise perfect Pokédex. It's because of this ridiculous desire to complete things that Pokemon does such a good job of fucking with us. The same epidemic happened with Five Nights at Freddy's. We all wanted to know what in the hell was happening. We needed to complete the puzzle, and it kept us gamers coming back over and over again. But even if each generation of games had only one version, one of Pokemon's core problems is that the game's idea of difficulty is grinding. For those who don't know, grinding is a gamer term taken from the act of grinding one's genitals on another's, of the opposite or same sex, in a seductive manner. Since none of us gamers ever got to do that, but we like thinking about it, we associate it with another hard task, doing the same thing over and over again to become stronger. Pokemon is a game that requires no skill, because no matter what, win, lose, whatever, your Pokemon will continue to grow. So eventually, whatever was kicking your ass before will no longer be able to. This isn't skill, this is learning patterns or finding effective strategies to beat your opponent. There's no real level of difficulty. It's just fight till you win, and that's it. If you disagree, explain to me how Twitch beat Pokemon. That's literally random buttons being hit and they cleared the game. This is a vast difference from other games where you need to hone your actual skills as the game gets harder. Take any Mega Man game as a counterexample. These games allow you to grow stronger, to level up, so to speak, in terms of abilities and health. But there's a point where you still need to be skilled, to learn bosses and enemies' patterns, and be nimble and quick enough to win. And if if you don't win, your Mega Man doesn't get stronger. He reverts back to where he was at the beginning of the level. But with Pokemon, it's literally just a time hole that will devour as much of your precious life as you're willing to put into it. And don't get me wrong, I understand that the effectiveness of types plays a major role in Pokemon and beating the gyms. But if I continue to train my Charmander until he's as strong as fuck Charizard, I guarantee you Misty's stupid Starmie isn't going to stand a chance. No matter what, if I keep trying, even if I have no skill and have a brain, I will still eventually win. But I fucking hate grinding. I don't know what people find fun about it, and the game is specifically set up to have you grind. Why do I have to keep facing these Zubats? If I wanted to grind, can't I just have a button to search for wild Pokemon? It would be way faster, and I wouldn't have to hurt my fingers pressing down on the buttons too hard from frustration. But no, the game makes me grind because every grassy, watery, snowy, or cavey area just gets to decide when I encounter something. I get that the idea is I'm on an adventure and I don't know what's gonna be around every corner. But these battles end up taking either one hit because I'm strong as shit, or I just run away in the end because I'm too tired of fighting pointless battles. Grinding is used as a difficulty setting, but it's an uncontrolled setting. No matter what, if I have 6 Pokemon and encounter one wild Pokemon, that fucker's gonna die and at least one of my Pokemon will get better. There's no real skill at the base of it. But these games could have been designed so that there had to be. What about a Pokemon game where your experience only saves between Pokemon centers? Where your Pokemon level up just like normal, but if they faint, then they lose all the leveling since their last trip to Nurse Joy. Wouldn't you be more careful about letting your Pokemon die? Doesn't that make the game sound tougher, but also more satisfying? Right now, in any Pokemon game, I can fight my Pokemon to death. Literally. And it doesn't matter, because as soon as I heal them, they'll be fine again and keep all their experience, save for the battle they died in. If the game really punished you for letting your Pokemon faint, suddenly there's much more strategy involved in traversing the Pokemon world. I think this is just one example of how Pokemon could have been made differently, and possibly better. Or even just an option to play this way at the start of the game would suffice. Again, I love Pokemon. I've played many of the games, watched the show, owned the cards, but that doesn't mean there aren't things that could be improved on, and it seems as though the gaming series hasn't changed all that much in its core structure. I mean, thank God they integrated running shoes and the whole 3D-ness of the newer ones with multiple Pokemon battling at once, and held items and shit definitely add some difficulty and strategy. But it doesn't change the core concepts of the game, and despite how much I love and enjoy playing them, some part of me thinks that some change, if done correctly, could be good. But hey, if you don't believe me or don't like what I've said, let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this, please let us know. This is a newish idea we're trying out, and we would like to know if you guys enjoyed it, so leave a comment or a like or dislike. To end, let me know if you'd actually like to see some sort of experience loss implemented in Pokemon, or if I'm just blowing smoke out of my ass. And that's about it. Have a good Monday, everybody. Or whatever day of the week you're watching this on. Yeah, I mean it.